what's up? My name is Jason Schmaltz and I'm an AMGA Rock Guide Apprentice, and today I'm going to talk to you about getting into guiding specifically through the AMGA Single Pitch Instructor or SPI program. I've gotten a lot of questions over the years from my viewers on how they get started into guiding, and the AMGA SPI program offers the best balance of a conservative commitment, both monetarily and through time, but then when you're done with the certification, you can actually do something and you can start getting into guiding from a practical perspective. So I want to talk a little bit on what it takes to get into that, what you should do is some pre-work, and then actually how to execute the certification. So the first thing I want you to think about before you sign up for any SPI courses or before you get an AMGA Pro membership is to think about what your vision is for you in guiding. And I want to give you a couple questions to ask yourself to kind of guide that thought process. And the first one is, what do you contribute to the guiding community in the location that you want to guide? Whether that's the location that you currently live or if you want to move somewhere and guide there. For me, I live in Atlanta and there's no guide service in Atlanta, but there are like 10 climbing gyms and a lot of people are into rock climbing. And actually the capstone on my decision was I saw that the URL atlantarockclimbing.com was available, and I said, this is a match. We have to go for this. And so from there, we were able to build a brand around the Atlanta Rock Climbing Company and kind of start our journey. So the next question to ask yourself in casting a vision is, do you want to do guiding as a full-time or part-time endeavor? Most people that I've seen get into guiding at least start part-time. They have another job and they kind of do guiding on the side and they kind of see how it goes. I would probably recommend that if you already have a job that you like or a job that's paying the bills, because guiding is different than rock climbing recreationally significantly. So you want to get experience at the professional level and see if it's even something that you like before you just decide to drop everything and pursue it full time. So definitely think about that. And if you're going to pursue guiding part-time, you may want to consider the third question, which is, who do you want to get into guiding with, specifically peers that may want to do the SPI journey with you? So for me personally, one of my good friends, Clinton Tiggs, wanted to get into guiding as well. We had done some kind of mock guiding for nonprofits together before, so we knew that we worked well together, and we said, hey, let's do this guiding thing together. Let's start Atlanta Rock Climbing Company together, and that way we can both do it part-time but share the load and serve kind of like a full-time business. So we saw that as kind of an advantageous aspect to our vision, and it's proven fruitful over the last few years. Clinton's been a great partner to work with, and we've been able to grow our business and serve the Atlanta market and actually surrounding markets really well. Once you have a clear vision on how you fit into guiding, now it's time to build your basic skills. Again, this is before you sign up for the SPI course. Go ahead and build these basic skills, because if you have no skills, the course will not be valuable to you. So the first basic skill that I want you to think about is just mock guiding people outside at whatever level that you're at. So if you're just at a top rope outdoor level, guide people on top rope and see what that's like. If you're at a sport climbing lead level at low grades, 5.6, 5.7, 5.8, guide people on routes that you know and see how you like it. See how you like feeling responsible for other people. See how you can get out of situations where ropes get tangled or people get scared at the top, and how you get them to lower back down or rappel back down, and how you can make those situations safe and enjoyable for your friends who you're mock guiding. I did a lot of mock guiding through some nonprofit stuff before I got into the professional paid gigs, and it really proved fruitful because I was able to understand a lot of what was going on in people's heads as they got into rock climbing maybe for the first time outside, and the fears and anxieties that came with that, how to calm those and help them have an enjoyable day. The second thing in building skills is that you need to start getting into trad climbing at a certain point. All the guide tracks ultimately go into trad climbing. People aren't really going to hire you to guide them in bouldering. People aren't going to really hire you to guide them in top rope or sport climbing, because those things are pretty easy barriers to entry for people to get into. But trad climbing is completely different. Number one, it's a more intricate skill, and number two, it's expensive. So a lot of people want to do trad routes or big multi-pitch routes, but they don't want to commit to the skills and the financial equipment that it takes to get into it. And that's where a guide can really offer some value. The third skill to really dive into is the knots that you need to have for climbing, specifically the most common ones that you've probably seen highlighted on my channel many times. I'll run through them real quick for you. First up, figure 8 follow through. Pull out about 1.5 arms lengths of rope, put the strands together, go around the loop and then through it. Now you got your 8. From there, pass the rope through whatever loop you want to go through. And now retrace. Be careful to dress well. One, two, three, four, 5 sets of parallel lines. Next up, clove hitch. First, 2 hands. Hands crossed, uncross, don't shift your wrists. Take the strand that's in front and put it behind. Clip both strands onto the carabiner, pull tight. Second way, the one-handed way. Take the rope, put one strand in the back, put it through the carabiner, grab the strand that's in the back, bring it up again, loop the same strand in the back again, and put it through the carabiner again, pull tight. Munter hitch, 2-handed, uncross your arms. Instead of putting the front strand in the back like you did with the clove, close it like a book and clip. Munter hitch. Munter hitch one-handed, put the strand through the carabiner and then whichever side you want to be loaded, make a back loop and put that through the carabiner. Overhand on a bite, take a bite of rope, pull it together, down, around, through. Flat overhand, take 2 strands together, put them together, get about 30 centimeters of rope and just do an overhand. Down, around, and through. Make sure it's dressed really well. From there, pull each strand individually tight. Flat overhand. It's important to understand that you'll have to know many, many knots as a guide at the end of the day, but if you just know these 5 fundamental knots, you can really do a lot, and then you can kind of add on as you go the different knots as you learn different scenarios where they're applicable. And finally, the last skill to zero in on is anchor building. And you don't have to know every anchor system, but it would be good for you to know how to do maybe 2 or 3 very proficiently and efficiently. Here's the 3 most common anchor systems you might use as you start guiding. Okay, 3 most common anchors. First, the very most basic one, the single master point. Take a 120 centimeter sling, get the tab on one end of these carabiners, clip it to both carabiners, take your hands, make a common overhand between all the strands, pull it down, there's your master point, and you can start to set up your top rope or whatever right here. Second most common anchor system is the quad anchor system. Take a triple or quad length sling, bring the ends together and pull it tight. Get the tab on one end, take that end and go ahead and make an overhand. Then take the other end and make an overhand. Make it nice and well dressed. Boom, smiley face, clip each end. Make sure the knots are above the middle point on each side. And you can clip 2 strands, have another 2 strands for another master point if you need to have a partner up here. And now you have a self-equalizing anchor that's also redundant. Last anchor system, girth hitch master point. Take an alpine draw, clip it to the anchors and extend it all the way out. Get the tab out of the way. Clip the other anchor. Take both strands, make a magic X out of 1. That's going to be to add extra friction. Take your locking carabiner, lock it down, and now girth hitch. The carabiner like that. Girth hitch master point, no shelf. So once we've casted a vision for our guiding and we've started to build skills, the third step in becoming an SPI certified guide would be to hire a guide yourself. And you may want to do this in conjunction with building skills. There's so many advantages to hiring a guide, especially if you're an aspiring guide. Number one, they can help you learn the skills extremely more fast. You may have heard me mention trad climbing before. If you hang out with a professional guide for a day or two, you're going to be able to become semi-proficient in trad climbing, or at least proficient enough where you can practice on your own from that point. You at least got to start a foundation. But secondly, and most importantly, for an aspiring guide, in talking with a very experienced guide, is that you're going to gain insight. You're going to see where their pitfalls are, you're going to see what they like about guiding, and then you're going to see what they really don't like about guiding. And some of the answers might surprise you. You might hear stuff like, yeah, I don't really like rock climbing because I do it all the time. So it might be something that you want to think about. Wow, I really like rock climbing right now. If I do it professionally, it turns into a job. I'm at risk of not liking it. And that may be something that you don't want to risk from a personal perspective. If you lose the joy in rock climbing, what does that do for you? So it's something to think about. So steps 1 through 3 might sound like a lot, but if you really double down on them, you can probably accomplish those steps within a season or half a season. Again, it just depends on how intense that you can be on it. But once you're at a point where you feel like you've kind of gained some foundational knowledge, you have a general sense of what guiding's like, now it's time to commit financially. So there's 2 main financial commitments. Firstly, whatever equipment you don't have in the SPI kit, which I'm about to show you, you need to go ahead and think about purchasing. And then secondly, you need to go ahead and sign up for the course. And if you're looking for a course to sign up for, Atlanta Rock Climbing Company is offering a course in late November. There's a link to where you can sign up to it. But if you don't live in the Southeast and you want to take a course that's closer to you, you can just check on the AMGA website and they have a list of all the courses nationwide, and you can just pick the one that makes sense for you. I do encourage you to sign up for our course because number one, we have an IFMGA guide teaching our course, Carson DeLapp, who's also my climbing mentor. And also, I'm going to come make an appearance on one of the evenings that you guys are at the course, have dinner with you guys, and try to give some insight on ways that you can be successful in the guide career, not just from a technical perspective, but more from a marketing, positioning, and networking perspective that'll hopefully get you set up for success as you try to pursue the career. I want to offer that to our customers as some kind of an additional value add. Our course costs the same as all the other people's courses, but I just wanted to give that extra added value. I wish I would have had that in my course because it probably would have helped me start my career a little bit faster. Okay, so the SPI kit is pretty basic. I'm going to give you kind of the bare bones kit. Of course, you can add to that. Also encourage you to visit with your SPI course instructor to see if there's anything deficient or that they recommend specific to your region. But this is what I see you being able to have a successful course in with the minimal amount of financial commitment. And then of course you can commit more later if you figure out that you like guiding. Firstly, you do need a good crack bag. You need to be able to put all your equipment, plus jackets, etc., stuff like that, into a good crack bag. I've had this Trango one since day one. Of course, I've gotten other bags over the years, but this one has served me pretty well. I'm not going to go over the basic climbing things that you need, but harness, helmet, shoes, obviously. For ropes, you need a dynamic climbing rope. This is a 9.6 or 9.7, which is good for single pitch. Dynamic 60-meter rope from Edelweiss. And then you also need a static rope. And this is a 150-foot static rope, also from Edelweiss. I think it's 8.5 millimeters. The static ropes are really robust, so you don't have to get a really thick one to have a good one for a single pitch anyways. Now, as far as proper kit, for lockers, I like to have 5 lockers at least, maybe 6. These are mostly Petzl attachés and 1 Petzl William. For non-lockers, I have about 6 non-lockers. This is 4. I have a couple more that are like clip to stuff. And I like to have varying sizes and colors as well. It just kind of helps for different applications. Belay devices, you'll want an assisted braking device. I like Gree-Gree. Most of the SPI systems are built off of Gree-Gree, so I encourage you to have one of these. And then I have the Petzl Reverso. In SPI world, this is mainly used for rappelling, but can also be used for belaying. For slings, I like to have maybe 2 quad or triple length slings, and then 2 120 centimeter slings. You probably get away with 1 quad sling if you have a cordelette, which I think is a required piece of equipment. I encourage you to have a cordelette for sure. This is a 7 meter, 7 millimeter cordelette. Additionally, I have about 6 or 8 alpine draws. You may also want to have a couple quick draws. And then as far as trad rack goes, go minimal on the trad rack if you don't own one. Let's not commit too hard to this thing financially before we figure out that we might not even like it. So I encourage you to have one set of nuts and one set of cams. This is 0.3 to 3. And this will probably get you what you need to do in single pitch. If you want to supplement that with some tri-cams, if you want to save a little bit of money, of course you can do that, especially if you live in the Southeast. But this kit will get it done for an SPI course. Of course you can double up on the cams. You ultimately will, if you get into guiding or trad climbing, have a double set of cams. If you want to bring a double set of cams to the course and you only have one single set, hey, see if you can borrow some from somebody else. Of course, a nut tool to get out any stuck pieces of trad equipment. And then I like to bring one PAS. This isn't required. Of course, you can use your slings for it, but Petzl Connect Adjust. If you got the extra money, I go ahead and grab one of these. And lastly, 2 Prusik friction hitches to do your third hands and various other friction hitch applications. So step number 5 in gaining your SPI certification is moving towards the exam. And this is a key point, is that once you take the course, sometimes people start salivating over the entire rock guide track or even achieving IFMGA status, and that is just looking way too far down the line. I really encourage you, as you enter the realm of guiding, to appreciate how significantly vast it is compared to recreational climbing. There's so much to learn. There's so many climbs that you need to do as you build your resume and build your experience to move up the certification ladder, that it really doesn't make sense to get too far ahead of yourself besides just focusing on the exam. Another couple steps that you can do in between the course and the exam is consider getting a mentor, a climbing mentor or a guide mentor. Look around your region, see who could maybe help you with that. And then secondly, start getting some experience. Atlanta Rock Climbing Company does hire guides who have taken their SPI course and are working toward their exam to help them get kind of the reps before they go take their exam so they don't show up to the exam cold. Our company is big on not only valuing our clients, but valuing our employees. So even if you work for us as kind of an SPI apprentice, we'll call it, you still get paid. Not every company will pay you if you don't have the full cert. So just build that expectation, but our company will do that. So if you live in the Southeast and are looking to get experience, give us a call or send us a message through our website and we'll be able to get in touch with you. Again, I want to mention that we're offering a course in November at one of the local crags around here called Cherokee Rock Village. We have an IFMGA guy, Carson DeLapp, teaching that course, and of course I'm going to make an appearance during one of the dinners and give a little talk on how to be successful in your guide career, try to answer any questions that you have as well. And so I'd love you to sign up for that course if you live around here, or even if you want to make a special trip. It'd be great to see you. Hey, if you found this video useful, give us a like or a subscribe if you haven't already. Got any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll try to get to them. Also, if you like this video, I'm considering doing a sequel. Once you get your certification, how do you market yourself? How do you maybe market the company that you started? Or if you're going to work for another company, how do you navigate those waters in a sea of guides who are extremely more experienced than you? What can you do to kind of set yourself apart? Let me know if that's something that interests you as an audience member, and I'll consider making a sequel to this video. But I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you found a lot of information out of it. I look forward to seeing you out on the crag.